and Joseph, you're going to tell us a bit about the new BSc course in TUW. And that is in timber product technology. So I suppose training and skills is obviously something that's close to every member's heart, I believe, probably more so and increasing as we go forward. So looking forward with interest to hear what you'll be doing with the degree course.
Great, Michael. Thank you for that. That's super, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Can you hear me? Yep.
I can hear you. Yeah.
And you can see my screen shared there.
And your slides are up there. Yeah.
Great, super duper. Yeah, I really enjoyed that last presentation. I definitely think that the guys have something to offer that we might be interested in talking to them about in Technological University Dublin ourselves. So yeah, I'm here today to introduce a program called Sustainable Timber Technology. It's an honours degree program. It replaces a previous program called BTech in Timber Product Technology, which will have had 10 years of graduates by the time it closes. But this is I think a bigger opportunity. I hope it's of great interest to your members. So I will kick ahead. So you were mentioning there earlier on, Michael, that we've all moved to Grange Gorman. It's a little bit more complex than that, not quite yet. As you know, Technological University Dublin, TUDublin, formed from 3 institutes of technology in January 2019. It's been at the same time from the Kevin Street campus and so on, Bolton Street. We've been providing technical education for 100 years. Many of the original academic programs in certain spaces, let's say like architectural technology, various apprenticeships, etc., started there and then kind of moved to other parts, were duplicated or emulated elsewhere in Ireland. There's 28,500 students, so it's either the first or second largest third level education body in Ireland. It's also unique in delivering apprenticeship from level 6 apprenticeship to PhD level 10, and it's obviously got 3 campuses. Having gone through the exercise of centralising over 20 years, energy going into centralising in Grange Gorman, we then took the opportunity to also take on our comrades in the suburbs, where they have very specific target markets and employers and students. So we're this new exciting type of educational model for Ireland. You're familiar with some of the old buildings. That's Bolton Street, obviously, on the right, and then below that is the Linen Hall building, which at one stage was known as the School of Trades, then became the School of Construction and Construction Management, and more recently the Dublin School of Architecture moved in there with the School of Mechanical and Design Engineering, and there's a range of apprenticeship programs going on there as well as academic. We've also got the new campus in Grange Gorman. The top right image on the the top right image shows the campus development. It's the largest single educational development in Europe. It's the largest educational project Ireland has ever funded, taken part in, and it's quite extraordinary. The building at the middle top is the what we call it, the arts and tourism building that's being completed. The East Quad, at the moment, it'll be open before Christmas, we hope. Certainly it'll be taking students into semester 2, and we'll have a range of extraordinary resources, one of the best amphitheatres, or not theatres in Ireland, recording studios, performance spaces, teaching spaces, etc. Really, really exciting. And then the central quad will be open for September 21, and that is the science kind of quad, another huge building. At the bottom right there, quite interestingly, you're looking at the Broombridge Design and Construct Centre, which is right beside the Lewis stop and the railway line to Maynooth and so on. There's going to be a sports facility on the left-hand side, and then the middle portion will feature a kind of a Google students union type facility, kind of a Google type space, if you can imagine that kind of interoperability and so on. And then the other 3 bays you can see on the right will be a unique centre of about 8,000 square metres, providing the potential for apprenticeship and academic programmes working together, design and build, kind of 2-storey areas with gantries to build and take down buildings, to huge industry engagement, lots of excitement, a lot of industry partners helping to come in as because they can see the value of this kind of cross-silo, integrated and innovative education in Ireland. So that's really exciting, as you can imagine. TUDublin, having formed in 2019, later in 2019, it adopted its strategic plan. It is very much hanging on sustainability as a key marker or deliverer of quality education, as it should. We talk about providing driving performance through talent and technology in terms of creating a talent resource of top quality, highly skilled, work-ready graduates, responding to the challenges of the climate action by accelerating sustainable advances in the construction industry, and partnership, leading with our industry partners to transform growth and development through research, expert knowledge, and accessing cutting-edge facilities. So I think that's a really nice, strong, clear goal. If we're not doing that, we're not delivering, and we're very excited about doing so. We know beyond this program and this group of people, we have a challenge globally in the planet. But I think it's particularly a challenge we in the West need to lead and show solutions where we have people who are not experiencing, let's say, the good life, and then another group that are, and quite typically the ones that are experiencing the good life are using that on the back of resources that effectively we've taken from everybody else, or even from the planet's ability to actually reach climate equilibrium, resource equilibrium, and all these other things. So our challenge as humans on this planet, if we want to remain on the planet, is to re-engineer what we do, including production, so that the quality of life is maintained while adhering to strict environmental limits. And that is, you know, that I would suggest that needs to be what so many of us take as our central mission. Certainly, I'd like to think I do in my life. I think there's a lot of things supporting that. The EU is showing a lot of leadership, such as the Sustainable Bioeconomy for Europe. At the launch of that policy document, it was said that we need to make systemic change in the way we produce, consume, and discard goods. That we need to develop this bioeconomy, which is the renewable segment of the circular economy. We need to find new and innovative ways of producing food, products, and energy without exhausting our planet's limited biological resources. And clearly, coming from this sector, we have a renewable resource, which is an extraordinary, beautiful thing, and we have that ability. Many other sectors don't. We need to celebrate that, and we need to do it better than we're doing it at the moment. The European Commission will actively support and promote all types of innovation and practices for sustainable food and farming systems, forestry, and bio-based production through a systemic and cross-cutting approach, linking actors, territories, and value chains. And I think that should be good news for the audience here today. So all of that context, and then a few things that happened in 2014, 15, 16, really gave us courage in TUDublin, or in DIT at the time, to look more broadly from the program we had, which was focused on largely cabinetry and joinery skills and management, to broaden and look at what does the industry, including the heavy industry, need as a whole, and what's the ambition, and where can we go, and how can we serve bigger and better. So UL's Wood Science and Technology program, moving to run off in 2014, I think was a wake-up call for a lot of industry. It hadn't really supported the program as well as it could have, and it's quite possible that there were systemic elements within the university that didn't support it sufficiently either. But clearly, once it was set into runoff, I think people started saying, well, where will we find our graduates and our placement students? And a part of the industry is still saying that. Letterfract GMIT are doing a fantastic job in their area of the industry, which is very much about craft, about design, about smaller operators perhaps, and doing it very, very well under good management for many years. But there is another aspect of the industry that is now not being served, and they find it difficult to find graduates. We've been told this repeatedly. The UN's Sustainable Development Goals Agenda 2015 created an international framework to justify direct growth and innovation in this sector. 2016, the announcement of the doubling of the Irish roundwood harvest, the All-Ireland doubling, was announced. Another extraordinary moment that most other countries in Europe, possibly even the world, couldn't conceive of. Imagine Sweden doubling its 74% of coverage, harvest from its coverage, which has been there so long, it's inconceivable. 2016, you could say that the vote for Brexit made it clear that the industry needed to work more closely together, that we're not doing that enough. I think the IWFMN is doing a fantastic job in a very short time to begin to do that credibly, as one element in the industry. And of course, innovate, and innovation needs upskilling, it needs education. So we wanted to use the experience of our existing program and the skills that going back to trade and coming in from architecture and engineering and so on, and working with that matrix or ecosystem of other supportive programs in the Bolton Street campus and TUDublin beyond to develop a new broader 4 years program to serve the full industry. So obviously, as you know, in this meeting, there's primary, secondary, and tertiary processing of solid timber and engineered timbers. There's products using solid wood, wood strand, fiber, dust. There's import, export. There's technical specification, related policy, quality assurance, and so on. So there's a lot there to serve and support, and we feel we can do that. We know that the employment is expected to significantly increase in the industry. And again, there's been questions as to where are these graduates going to come from. And we really need kind of an all-Ireland effort in supplying the right people. And a lot of this is rural employment, which of course is a very good news story politically and otherwise. We also know that we can't make the nimble, innovative, energetic, export-focused, science-focused, efficient industry that we want unless we work together. Very often policy seems to look at the sawmills to do everything. The sawmills are very busy doing what they're doing. They could do other things, but so could other practices, so could the educators, so could the researchers, so could the government themselves, so could the citizens in terms of what they're demanding. So there's a whole helix of interwoven range of needs, and meeting those together is the right way to do that. And I think Brexit has really helped maybe slap us on the side of the head and say, come on guys, get this together. And I think there's a lot more of that happening going on. We've been reaching out to a whole range of stakeholders across Ireland, Europe, and even actually the world in terms of finding out what we need to do as a program. What do they need? How can we know that we're doing the right thing? Tell us what you want. And we've been welcomed with open arms, really, really strong welcome. I think the timing is, as you can see, very good, and the need is very, very strong. We've learned a lot from these companies. Obviously, from Brexit, sorry, not Brexit, but COVID-19 has frustrated our ability to physically reach out more in this last year. But we've established really great relationships, and it's been really enlivening. It's been really exciting and useful. So where we've come to is we've actually validated a new program. The validation meeting was in February. Bill Vernon in this call was part of that validation panel. So was Dr. Dan Ridley-Ellis and other academics within and without TUDublin. We went through a process with them. I think that process helped us improve the program further. We don't think for a moment that we're there yet. That it's an ongoing process still, but I think we have a very, very strong offering. It's a 4-year program, BSc Hons in Sustainable Timber Technology. It'll have placement in year 3. It commences in September 2021. We want to have 32 students in that year and every year after. It'll be we believe it's the only academic program in Ireland that focuses on the broad forest product sector or timber industry. That there are very good programs in the sector, but not programs that address the full sector. We want to embed the Sustainable Development Goals in our program, and really we're still again exploring how we do that. We've been audited internally by our process, which was a new process, so we've been a guinea pig for a few different things so far. It's attracting a lot of attention internally within the university, which is great to see. And then, like I said, outside as well. We want to create students who have a keen interest in making life and industry more sustainable, and make graduates that are technically proficient, but also obviously team builders, problem solvers, and independent learners. We believe our graduates will be timber technologists. They'll be industry ready. They're not foresters, they're not scientists, they're not engineers, builders, or architects. We see them as being generalists at the center of the industry, that are able to go over to a machine and use it safely, that are also able to talk about production management, able to talk about the wood science, able to talk about, able to engage and communicate, able to understand where the industry needs to go, and able to innovate. So you could say maybe they're the glue, or perhaps the lignin at the center of the sector, leading the process of innovation, improvement, specification, creation of products, driving innovation and value, and of course maintaining quality, which is a huge part. This is a graphic you're all familiar with, coming again from Enterprise Ireland recently, a very useful kind of graphic. We see our students as having a role in various different parts of the industry throughout it, and in primary, secondary, and tertiary processing innovation. We a key objective of TUDublin is to combine the academic quality of a traditional university with career-focused learning, discovery, and application of knowledge. We think that industry focus and readiness, usefulness is a key aspect of being a technological university. We take that further by supporting a student-centered approach to the concept of learning by doing. Our friend Confucius helped us with that one. He said to us that if you hear and you forget, if you hear, you forget. If you only hear, you forget. If you see, you have a better chance of remembering, but if you do it, you have a better chance of understanding. And it's that deeper learning and that kind of practical sense where the science and the production understanding and the lean perspectives and all that communication is supported by the fact that they've actually physically seen timber distort. They know what it can rot like, they know how it can be used, they understand the difference between those materials, their weight, their size, their value, and so on. So it's just, I think it's worth going through the learning outcomes briefly, if you'll humor me. So on successful completion, our graduates will be able to demonstrate detailed knowledge of the forest product sector in Ireland and abroad and its role in the emerging bioeconomy. They'll be able to understand sustainability, in particular, the increasing role of forest products in sequestering carbon, material substitution and circularity, thereby strengthening societal resilience and mitigating the climate and biodiversity emergency. And I think it's worth stating that. That's strong language, but I think that's where we are, and we need to be honest and clear about that and see where what we can do about it. We need to express comprehensive knowledge. We want them to express comprehensive knowledge of applied research in wood science to analyse timber processing and our forest products, to understand the operation of factories and workshops of the forest product sector, such as sawmills, board mills and joineries, including supply chain, to demonstrate mastery of technological and production processes for timber processing and forest product manufacturing, to use advanced technical, craft and digital skills required in timber processing and forest manufacturing, to demonstrate innovation in the design and manufacture of a broad range of forest products, to act effectively in the management of production operations and quality systems, to exercise appropriate judgment in the application of professional, environmental and regulatory standards in the forest product sector, to act effectively under guidance, making use of problem-solving, innovation and entrepreneurial skills to develop timber processing and our forest product manufacturing enterprises. And then lastly, from a personal perspective, to express a comprehensive worldview that demonstrates self-awareness, a willingness to collaborate and high professional standards. And then to learn independently, professionally and ethically in variable and unfamiliar learning contexts, which are, you know, everything we're going towards is going to be unfamiliar, and we need to be, all of us need to be able for that. We've kind of mapped sustainability to the program, and looking at the SDGs, you can see there just in terms of color as a visual thing that there are certain outcomes, certain goals that we see as having a strong alignment. There's others there in the lighter colors, for instance 2, 11 and 15, where we see that there's a lesser alignment, and then the ones in gray are ones which obviously affect us all as human beings on the planet, but maybe not as strongly within the actual program. We talk about 5 strands of learning across 8 semesters, and using that graphic there, it just kind of in a kind of a loose way, you can see how we develop the skills. Let's say the top one there is transversal and general building, that of those kind of brackets down the page on the left hand side, how transversal business and general business and transversal learning is developed through communication and multidisciplinary knowledge, through business, through estimating entrepreneurship, how the timber skills and visual comms aspect are developed, particularly in the first 4 semesters, and then through optional modules they're taken further, and then of course through your placement and through your thesis, again it's open to take those further. How science is an important block early on, and then production management and regulation and quality assurance, you know, play in with science and that rigor, because that's why we can talk about lean, how we can talk about compliance or non-compliance and all those sorts of things, and how they like I said, they support. And then the last being there, the forest industries or industry context, relating to what is this industry, what are the practices, the language, the employment, the size of a board, the weight of a something, the you know, all those kind of descriptions, all of that kind of industry awareness. And then specifically going into the sawmills, board mills and supply chain side of it. What's important is that having had 10 years of graduates by 2020, 3. We want to ensure that there's a bridging program for those graduates, and they're already in industry right now. The first graduates came out in 2013. They're useful people that you may want to know about, or maybe you're already employing. But we want to provide across 4 semesters, an 80 ECTS bridging program that allows them to graduate with a BSc Hons in sustainable timber technology as well. So a lot of those modules will be delivered online. Obviously, they don't need placement because they have industry experience at that point to feed into a thesis idea and develop that further. But by delivering to them online, or predominantly online, we can also provide upskilling to industry companies themselves, where certain people, let's say, would say they want to know more about alternative materials in wood science, or the wood science of engineered boards, or quality and reliability in the forest industry, timber industry, etc. And that cohort can be sitting beside the bridging program cohort, and indeed to see it might also suit in the terms of the familiarity we now have with online learning, that some of our undergraduates will also take some of those modules online. Some of those elements are yet to be seen, but while we're starting with the undergraduates in September 21, our first years, from the second year onwards, we want to start the bridging program. So we'll be making some of these CPD modules available to industry at the same time. So that's what I wanted to say to you. So Michael and everyone else here at the IWFMN, thank you for your time. There's a link to the website. That's a graduate of the current program who kindly came in and lent her image. It's obviously no accident it's a woman, in terms of kind of giving the message about diversity, in terms of inclusion and competence. So thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Listen, thank you, Joseph. That's a fantastic presentation. I think timing is everything, they say, and I suspect your focus there, in line with our own conference coming up Tuesday week in terms of sustainability and circularity. I mean, the Circular Economy Action Plan and the new EU Green Deal. I think there's great opportunity for us and our industry looking forward. So I've no doubt our members will be particularly interested in your graduates as we move forward. And Bill, I don't know if there's anything you'd want to add in relation to being involved in the validation of the program and that, but